The horses moving up the stretch now. They'll start their warm-up exercises now, and again, we can't fail but mention the tension here, as if it's the first Super Bowl or the 7th game of a World Series or a heavyweight championship fight. It's a different feel as we approach this race, and for all the obvious reasons. We have quite a celebrity list here. I've seen Governor Rockefeller and Senator Javits, former Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara, and of course all of the racing establishment. Right now, let's go to the head of the stretch and Frank Wright.
We are here to watch the warm-ups at the head of the stretch at Belmont Park. But warm-up in the strict sense of the word is hardly necessary in the 90-degree plus heat at Belmont Park today. Rather, the riders are loosening their mounts up. And in loosening up, they are trying to communicate the word relax to their horses, because no horse can show tension for a long part of a mile-and-a-half race and emerge the victor. So these jockeys do not want their horses warmed up on edge as in a sprint race. Our American riders don't have a lot of practice at going a mile-and-a-half or more. There are only 4 dirt surface races in this country of any moment that are a mile-and-a-half plus in distance. So if a wrestling match occurs between horse and rider, they are bound to be in trouble. Watch very closely on your television screen during the race, and if you see a situation like that, if you see a runaway horse that looks like a Western heroine is in trouble, the rider you watch will be in trouble, and no Lone Ranger will be there to save him. The big difference in this race is from that quarter pole, the red and white pole there, to the finish line. It's 440 yards. It's the extra distance from the Derby of a mile and a quarter, and it usually takes about 24 seconds to run. But in that distance, Kauai King succumbed in his effort to be a Triple Crown winner. Northern Dancer was found wanting in that run through the stretch. And we will see today if some criticisms leveled at Secretariat's breeding would make him come up short in this area right in front of us here. I'm looking the field over now with Sham right in front of me, and none of them seem unduly sweated or broken out, even though it's very warm here. Secretariat is also very cool and has warmed up satisfactorily here. And the field looks in very good shape for the Belmont today.
The field is now approaching us, coming down the stretch. The one closest to the gate is Secretariat. He's walking up, sort of moving his head left and right as he comes toward it, showing that kind of power bursting through the body that you see. And again, he's getting the applause, the kind of thing you would normally hear for a matinee idol. He is a matinee, and this is a great matinee with a great crowd. He's just lightly broken out along the shoulders. They're now waiting in back of the gate, waiting for the men to come and take them. A different person has been assigned to each horse. Frank Calvarese, a veteran starter, will take Secretariat into the gate when he is ready. But they're circling around in back of me now with their stable ponies, and we see Secretariat just back. Now here come the group of starters, 1 for each horse and 2 extras in case of difficulty. And you will see Secretariat being led. His number is 2, but he goes into the number 1 post. And then coming in after him is Private Smiles, with the distinguished Whitney colors. Most of these are quiet horses. The starters have handled almost all of them. They don't anticipate any trouble. And as this 3rd horse goes in, I give it up to Chic Anderson, who will call the race for you.
Thanks, Woody. The horse is continuing to move into the gate. Here's the one horse that caused a bit of trouble in the Derby. Twice a Prince, but he appears to be going in fine today. Yes, he's in and well. And Sham now going in. He's the outside horse, and we're ready to go for this tremendous Belmont Stakes. Everybody's in line, and they're off. Looks like the early lead goes to My Gallant. Yes, My Gallant going for the lead with Twice the Prince on the outside. Secretariat away very well, has good position on the rail, and in fact is now going up with the leaders. They're moving for the first turn. It is Secretariat. Sham on the outside is also moving along strongly. And now it's Sham. Sham and Secretariat are right together into the first turn. My Gallant has 3rd behind them. Then it's Twice the Prince, and the trailer is Private Smiles as they go by the turn. Those 2 together, Sham on the outside. Sham getting ahead in front as they move around the turn with Secretariat 2nd. Then there's a large gap. Make it 8 lengths back to My Gallant in 3rd and Twice the Prince 4th. And Private Smiles is still the trailer. They're on the backstretch. It's almost a match race now. Secretariat's on the inside, by ahead. Sham is on the outside. They've opened 10 lengths on My Gallant, who is third by ahead, with Twice a Prince fourth. Then it's another 8 lengths back to Private Smiles, who is trailing the field. They continue down the backstretch, and that Secretariat now taking the lead. He's got it by about a length and a half. Still Sham, 10 lengths back. My Gallant, Twice a Prince. They're moving on the turn now. For the turn at Secretariat. He looks like he's opening. The lead is increasing. Make it 3.5. He's moving into the turn. Secretariat holding on to a large lead. Sham is second, and then it's a long way back to My Gallant and Twice a Prince. They're on the turn. Secretariat is blazing along. The first 3/4 of a mile in 1:09 4/5. Secretariat is widening now. He is moving like a tremendous machine. Secretariat by 12. Secretariat by 14 lengths on the turn. Sham is dropping back. It looks like they'll catch him today, as My Gallant and Twice a Prince are both coming up to him now. But Secretariat is all alone. He's out there almost a 16th of a mile away from the rest of the horses. Secretariat is in a position that is impossible to catch. He's into the stretch. Secretariat leads his field by 18 lengths. And now Twice a Prince has taken second, and My Gallant has moved down to third. They're in the stretch. Secretariat has opened a 22-length lead. He is going to be the Triple Crown winner. Here comes Secretariat to the wire. An unbelievable, an amazing performance. He hits the finish 25 lengths in front. It's going to be Twice a Prince second, My Gallant third, Private Smiles fourth, and Sham, who had it today, dropped back to fifth. An amazing, unbelievable performance by this miracle horse. And look at Mrs. Sweetie. She's having the time of her life. She and Lucien Lauren, who own this most magnificent animal, who has today run the most sensational Belmont Stakes in the history of this race. Secretariat has accomplished the unbelievable task of breaking the 1.5-mile record by 2 3/5 seconds. That is a record that may stand forever. The time of this race, 2:24. Almost unbelievable. At the head of the stretch, Secretariat had already destroyed this field. As you can see, he was almost a 16th of a length, rather a 16th of a mile in front. And as he went through the stretch, Ron Turcotte, who never did anything but hand ride, never used the whip, made it almost embarrassing for the rest of the horses. I suppose you can't really be embarrassed by being beaten by the greatest horse in the past century. At the wire, Secretariat, all alone. And then it's such a problem to count lengths from that point. I said 25. It could conceivably have been more. The time of this race, I must tell you again, an unbelievable 2:24, 2 3/5 seconds, the record.
Unbelievable is all you're hearing down here in the winner's circle. And this horse, we haven't been able to digest it yet ourselves, Frank Wright, have we?
Mount Fleet, Man of War, and compare him to all the great ones, and he certainly deserves it, Jack. What an incredible effort. Demolished that field, and absolutely demolished them.
No contest. Listen to the crowd. Listen.
A gallant wave of the hat by Turcotte, and he certainly should be proud of what he and his horse did today, Jack.
My goodness, never in my dreams did I think it would be a race of that kind. And all our talk about the last quarter of a mile.
Oh, every quarter was brilliant today.
Woody Broun, are you somewhere in this cacophony of noise? Where are you? Woody Broun?
Well, 3,000 years ago, that's a funny beginning, when they brought the first race horses out of the valleys of Turkestan, the Emperor of China called them heavenly horses when he saw them. And this was a heavenly horse today. This was that old cliche, the big bird flying. And as he drew out, I think the feeling that most in the crowd had was disbelief. You could not imagine the way in which inexorably, frighteningly, it was 1 length, 2 lengths, 3 lengths, and so on, until the final great lead as he came down the stretch. Not a horse race, but a triumphal one-horse procession. I've never seen anything like it. Have you, Jack Whitaker?
Thank you, Woody. The carnations. He's had the roses, the daisies, the carnations. He'll get anything he wants now. The crosses withers. 31 lengths is the official margin of victory by Secretariat. 25 by Count Fleet, I think, had it been the last one.
Kenny No told us that he would separate them by 4 or 5 pounds. I believe Dick Butkus could have ridden this horse today and won. I don't believe there's a weight that could bring him together.
Carried Ray Nitschke with him. They're going to ride double on him. Dr. Chenery there in the glasses. And Rod Turcotte, who you know he's got to be happy. The first jockey since Eddie Arcaro on citation to have the triple. Back-to-back Belmonts. But really, all that goes aside now with the absolutely astonishing mastery of this horse today and just not dominating, owning the Test of Champions.
I think one of the factors one is sorry to note was the complete demise of Sham. I think he has gone to the well too many times against this fabulous athlete, and it certainly isn't going to help him. I don't think he'll want a rematch.